allow me to present to you Mayor Jamie Zukowski.
Thank you. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces out there today, so many that have had a great part in the state of our city today in 1995. I'd like to thank the Conejo Valley Chamber of Commerce for once again sponsoring this State of the City address, traditionally delivered by every mayor completing a term in representing the community. For all areas, this has been a dynamic and challenging time and year. It is an interesting time for government in general, local and national. And common to all is the continuing analysis and debate over what is the purpose of government, a question which should be of interest to all of us. Debate over the purpose of government is a healthy one. In our own community, too, we are asking, what is the city's main responsibility? What is essential? What is optional? How are we doing in meeting the essential needs of health, safety, and welfare? The reason local governments were formed. In reporting here on the state of our 31-year-old city in 1995, I describe a city beginning to feel the challenges of maturity. And I had the pleasure not too long ago of attending the State of the City address by our neighboring community of Westlake Village. We're very happy to have so many from our neighbor of Westlake, and the retiring council members and staff. And retiring Mayor Ken Ruffner had used the comparison of his city as a maturing teenager. And I think this stage of life comparison is applicable to our own 31-year-old city. This is our first year over the hill, as they say. A time in life when we begin to look at the long term, have to take better care of ourselves, and realize that growth is stabilizing, and we cannot always count on that climb, but must plan for the future. There are conflicting opinions within our own community and among our city council on the stage of our community and the future. However, there was remarkable consensus when our city council adopted its goals for 1995. These goals were unanimously adopted. They were to complete the disposition of the old City Hall, 401 Hillcrest, and the private side of the Civic Arts Plaza, to make measurable enhancements in public safety resources, to further the acquisition, preservation, and maintenance of open space, to increase sports and recreation facilities, to restore our library service hours at the main library, and to hold quarterly town hall meetings. I'll give a status report on these goals, those of which have been advanced most significantly. I'll begin with. Clearly, the most measurable advances over the past year have taken place in the area of public safety enhancements. The emphasis on improving public safety resources comes none too soon. The citywide crime symposium held in 1994 identified several key needs for our city in the area of crime prevention and community involvement, and I'm very pleased to report that the top needs evaluated through this broad-based effort were implemented this past year. The city, the police department, our partner agencies, and numerous very dedicated citizens have much to be proud of. The Citizens Academy is now in its 4th session of the year. The program has brought over 200 graduates and still has a long list of applicants waiting to get involved. The citizen graduates have devoted their time to the program and now have an excellent understanding of the police department, the criminal justice system, crime prevention, and are now a tremendous community outreach to the wider community. From this group, and also through our retired senior volunteer program administered through the Conejo Recreation and Park District, we have now 25 volunteers in policing already assisting our police department in various ways and freeing our sworn officers' ability to respond to critical needs. They will be joined by 25 more volunteers in policing this month. In recognizing public safety enhancements over the past year, I'd like to extend thanks and kudos to the Inter-Neighborhood Watch Council, under the inspiration of Dick Randall, Jimmy Sloan, and more names than I can mention here. These were the movers and shakers of a flourishing neighborhood watch groups, a dedicated corps that have developed an admirable communications outreach, which has served as an organizational guide, serving the residents throughout the community. They have played a very significant role in expanding the number of neighborhood watch groups that we have in Thousand Oaks and have set the tone this year for greater citizen involvement in public safety. We conduct a citizens' attitude survey every 5 years in the city of Thousand Oaks, which goes to a full 25% of our residents with an extraordinary response rate. Citizens have been remarkably consistent in expressing their priorities over the years. This past survey also asked what residents would be most supportive of using tax dollars to support. The establishment of police substations joined open space as the most supported use of local tax dollars. This shows that the security of our living environment is a foremost concern of residents, and the perceived level of safety in our community is changing significantly. Under the leadership of Commander Kemp and through the commitment and energy of her staff, and especially Deputy Jody Keller and the community-oriented policing officers, Thousand Oaks' first Public Safety Resource Center was opened in September. Through the generous donation of space by GTE and the Thousand Oaks Environmental Business Cluster, the center is up and running and expanding what is available in crime prevention to residents and businesses in the center of our city. Anyone who attended the opening of the Lombard Street Center or drop in to see the volunteers manning the desk can understand that this was and is truly a labor of love. There's even cookies there supplied by our RSVP coordinator, Norma Quiero, and security equipment and the sign on the door donated by local businesses. There's even a vacuum cleaner sited in the corner with the familiar name Horner on it. All of this demonstrating that even at 112,000, the city of Thousand Oaks still thrives on its volunteers and community involvement. As an adjunct to this fixed location resource center, residents and businesses will be served by a mobile resource center, soon serving all sections of the city for special events, for circumstances requiring additional personnel and equipment. It was deployed just this week in an area of single-family homes to emphasize the community-oriented strategy to deal with individual problems in individual neighborhoods. The strategy is working and involving more and more of our residents. Sergeant Humphreys and the community officers are doing a tremendous job, also working with the city departments to be sure that the city is recognizing problems when they first begin and addressing them early on. Two goal areas of public safety enhancements which have not yet been achieved are to restore our local dispatcher at the East Valley Sheriff's Station and to establish a standard level of service to calculate pro rata police service impact on all new development. However, 1 new patrol car and 2 new officers were added to our community-oriented policing strategy. This, in combination with expanding disaster assistance response team and more citizen involvement, has made 1995 a very productive year in our ability to respond to public safety needs. I'm happy to report that progress is being made on our goal of restoring library service hours. Our main library, our beautiful main library, has been plagued with problems of architecture and earthquake damage. However, patrons of the library have received quality service at the interim location on Willow Lane and at the Newbury Park branch. Library patrons have taken to the new location. Our current budget, to be adopted in January, will include allocations for reopening our library service on Fridays. Our community is very fortunate and very unique in the level of service that we've been able to maintain for library, while communities throughout the region have had experienced drastic cutbacks in their service levels. I'd like to express my appreciation to the excellent staff at both of our libraries for the many challenges they faced over the past year, not only those caused by nature, but those caused by hiring freezes and the resultant shortage of personnel. They still maintained quality service to over 600,000 patrons over this time. Our thanks to the Friends of the Thousand Oaks Library, and most certainly to the many volunteers who contributed over 15,000 hours of service to the library, calculated to be over $180,000 of contributions of time. They are to be commended for keeping our library able to preserve quality service to the community at a time of shrinking budgets. Another of our unanimously adopted City Council goals was for sports and recreational facilities. We have seen significant losses of recreational facilities for young people within the city and increasing demands on existing resources. This concern brought the City Council and the Caneo Recreation and Park District to meet on assessing long-term community needs. The CRPD Master Plan clearly identified areas where we were deficient for a city with a population of our size. It was evident that the needs of youth were foremost in these discussions. That led our two elected boards to invite the Caneo Valley Unified School District, the entity most involved in decision-making affecting our young people, to join for a historic meeting of the three agencies. Through those meetings of the city, the park district, and the school board, a list of unmet needs have been assembled, which will be put to the public to prioritize and choose a method of funding set as a ballot measure targeted for next year. We're on the road, though it's been a long road, to reaching another wholly supported goal of the City Council, and that is the repair and upgrade of the Los Robles Golf Course. The public course is an amenity very much supported and appreciated by our citizens and by many, many visitors as well. The consultant is ready to implement the improvement program to address long-awaited repairs and increasing conflicts created by the course layout, and no further delays on this are anticipated. City Council direction is to proceed. Major progress has taken place on plans for the championship course and multi-recreational use of the Hill Canyon area. The additional golf course is to be financially self-sustaining, as is the Los Robles course. Consistent with the City of Thousand Oaks Attitude Survey, which clearly ranks open space preservation as a top priority, further acquisition, preservation, and maintenance of open space was another unanimously adopted City Council goal for 1995. This goal was to study the options and create an action plan to identify needed funding. Part of this is being adopted through the update of our general plan, an element of the general plan which is mandated by state law to include not only policies for open space preservation, but also specific implementation plans. A tremendous amount of work has been invested by our staff experts, including Larry Marquardt of the Planning Department, Planning Commissioners Carpenter and Parks, Council Members Lazar and Zena, in this general plan update. The City of Thousand Oaks is indeed fortunate for the decisions of our earlier councils, for the vision and master planning of the Caneo Recreation and Park District, the expertise of former and present staff, including our planning director, especially the activism and involvement of citizens in planning policies over the years. They laid a foundation which is in evidence all around us and has made Thousand Oaks unique, encouraging quality investment in this community. And this has paid off. This foundation, however, must be supported and adequately maintained. The open space element and other required elements of this general plan outline these long-standing goals, but require additional funding today. Some progress has been made in this council goal with the acquisition of a ridgeline property at Mount Clef Ridge on the northern border of our community. Wishing to increase the opportunities for citizens to speak with the City Council, we initiated quarterly town hall meetings this year, and 2 have taken place. Thus far, forums have continued through the Crime Prevention Task Force, including forums on issues such as the increasing drug use among our teens. The DARE graduation this year took place at the Civic Arts Plaza Auditorium, where sixth graders got an opportunity to see their peers throughout the community when all the schools joined together for their culminating event. The quarterly video newsletter over TOTV is beginning to include timely information on school safety, fire season precautions, and crime prevention. Further utilization of this community resource can still be achieved, and I'd like to see this be more available to our city commissions, committees, and boards to reach the wider community. I'm happy to report that the new cable franchise agreement signed this year includes an educational channel for our school district and other educational institutions to reach the families and students of Thousand Oaks. Finally, this council adopted two goals adopted by former councils. That is, the disposition of two properties still in public ownership. A specific plan was compiled this year for the old City Hall property on 401 Hillcrest and will be reviewed by the Planning Commission. There continues to be considerable community interest in this central hilltop site, which is representative of much of Thousand Oaks' history as a city. Policy direction to city management is to pursue an interim use of the facility until final use of the property is reached. A development proposal for the land adjacent to the Civic Arts Plaza under the ownership of the city's redevelopment agency is in the process of being evaluated, and public informational meetings have been held on that site. The proposal is that this land will be purchased for an entertainment-based center, including restaurants, and the developer is in the process of responding to the public informational meetings on the property. The final proposal must achieve the goals of the City of Thousand Oaks and the Citizens Committee of 107 in making this location a pedestrian-oriented center which complements the Civic Center and Park. That provides a status on the unanimously adopted goals for 1995. I'd like to report on aspects of our city this year that are of regional significance. This was, of course, the inaugural year of the Civic Arts Plaza. This year, the city hosted 300,000 patrons, performers, and volunteers. Operations of the center benefited greatly from the efforts of the Friends of the Civic Arts Plaza, a volunteer corps of over 1,000 people under the dynamic leadership of volunteer extraordinaire Helene Ross. As the theaters are open 7 days a week and 6 or 7 nights a week, the demands on the facility are significant. The theater has a very small staff, without which it would not be possible to accommodate the volume of visitors we have without the 500 volunteer ushers which welcome and assist the public. 49,700 students from all over Southern California visited the theaters, and local corporations and organizations have used the theaters and park for forums and special events. Along with the growing opportunities for the performing arts in our community, the Thousand Oaks Arts Commission deserves special recognition for significantly expanding the opportunities and participatory events in the visual and other arts within our region. This year, the Arts Commission has brought forth a record year of remarkable accomplishments. Of also regional significance, the educational opportunities within our community deserve mention. We are fortunate to have within our city a fully accredited 4-year institution of higher education, California Lutheran University. Enrolling 2,800 undergraduate and graduate students, half from Ventura County, CLU continues to expand in excellence and has made major advances this past year, especially in the area of biological and health sciences, also involving area high schools and corporate alliances. The university celebrated its banner year of its excellent FM radio station, KCLU, which is expanding the horizons of our residents in Ventura County. The quality of the Conejo Valley Unified School District is one of the reasons newcomers choose Thousand Oaks as a place to live. This is something I often hear as a representative of this community. This year, Acacia, Meadows, Wildwood Elementary Schools were recognized as State of California Distinguished Schools, joining 4 previously designated elementary schools, our 4 middle schools and Thousand Oaks High School in this prestigious performance rating of California schools. Our 2 middle schools, Redwood Intermediate and all 3 main high schools, are top 100 schools in the state. Our congratulations to those schools, principals, teachers, administrators, students, and most of all, parents, whose involvement in their children's schools keeps our own public school system excellent. And this is in a state which has a lower financial investment per student than 40-some other states in the nation. Our Conejo Recreation and Park District leadership continues to provide many opportunities and resources for youth and families here. The district, which is older than the city itself, through its master planning was very influential in creating the type of community that we enjoy today. The state's budget cuts have severely affected all special districts. Yet the CRPD has maintained and continues to add quality programming and recreational activities for our community. Most corporations and people seek out Thousand Oaks because of the quality of our schools and our living environment. However, property values and home sales have not yet recovered. Policies adopted by the City of Thousand Oaks and consistent implementation of those policies can do much to preserve this living environment and preserve the housing stock and the public and private investment in the community. As mayor, I see a noticeable increase in communications from residents asking the city to pay closer attention to city maintenance and codes. I hope that the Conejo Valley Board of Realtors will work closely with the city to emphasize the importance of this aspect of our community. This year, the City of Thousand Oaks' first-time Homeowners Assistance Program helped 60 families of low and moderate income become homeowners for the first time. 26 local businesses improved accessibility at their place of business through the disabled access grants administered by the city. There are several policy advances which deserve mention. One which stands out this year is the city's efforts at waste reduction. I'd like to say thank you to the citizens who took the time to write to express their appreciation for the city's cleanup and household toxic motor oil recycling events. Often people are most motivated to write with a concern or a problem to the city. However, numerous letters of appreciation to Public Works, formerly the Utilities Department under Don Nelson, these letters have not gone unnoticed. Citizens continue to send their appreciation for the friendly and professional staff administering those programs. I'm very proud of the continuing advances in our city in the area of waste reduction. The City Council approved a policy that for all city-sponsored events, recycled or recyclable materials would be used and diverted from the waste stream. Marriott, which provides refreshment service for our theaters, deserves recognition for completely revising their purchasing program to reflect this policy. The city's in-house recycling purchasing program and the ongoing street overlay using recycled tires helped make Thousand Oaks this year the recipient of the United States Conference of Mayors 1995 award. This was the first time the City of Thousand Oaks received recognition with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. 38 city landscaped areas which formerly used potable water were now converted to reclaimed water. And the city entered into an agreement with Southern California Gas to install a natural gas fueling station at our new Municipal Services Center, which was also available to local companies using clean burning fuels. Another policy advance, or perhaps a restoration of former policy, was this new council's amendment to our municipal code to once again require that city-initiated development projects would have the same planning commission review as private proposals. If this policy is maintained, from a development standpoint, the city can be consistent in practicing what we preach. There have been significant economic advances in 1995. Anyone trying to get through the commercial hub of our city, near the crossroads of Moore Park Road and Thousand Oaks Boulevard, can see that there is a tremendous amount of new activity in our retail businesses. The Jan's Marketplace renovation is now near completion, giving new life to the Conejo Valley's original shopping mall. The addition of Mervyn's satisfies a long-awaited addition to Thousand Oaks. The impetus created by the revitalization of the Jan's Mall created a resurgence of the entire area, including the renovation of the center now called the Best Buy Shopping Center with the new Mimi's restaurant and an entirely transformed environment. Also, the central entrance to our community at Moore Park Road sees a thoughtfully designed coffee shop and bookstore gateway center, an approach which will be echoed by the same community-sensitive developer at Westlake Boulevard, entrance to the community. How did this happen so quickly? All of the projects that I mentioned complied with adopted zoning and development standards, thus sailed through the review process. Who says it's tough to do business in the city of Thousand Oaks? But even before all this revitalization of shopping centers, Thousand Oaks experienced another record year for sales tax revenues. Sales tax supports approximately 40% of the city's operating revenue for providing city services. We are a city considered to be an importer of sales tax, meaning much of our operating dollars are coming from people living outside the community doing their shopping here. This is most evident in the area of Thousand Oaks auto sales. With more and more people leasing cars, this major contributor to our tax base was declining, as sales tax was not being calculated at point of sale, but rather at out-of-town leasing offices. This inequity was corrected recently due to the efforts of city staff, legislators, and the Conejo Valley Chamber of Commerce. Our thanks for their persistence in helping to restore this essential portion of our city's operating revenue. Our host today, the Conejo Valley Chamber, also deserves to be commended on the addition and advancements on CityLink on the internet. They joined the Conejo Valley Unified School District and California Lutheran University with their award-winning CLUnet in providing vital information about Thousand Oaks over the World Wide Web. Thousand Oaks has a great deal to be proud of and is home to a remarkable diversity of companies of national and international renown. Accessing the information systems today clearly shows an increasingly wide range of opportunities which Thousand Oaks has to offer. And the city's own electronic bulletin board is expanding and improving as the interest and demand for information increases. The city now offers free link between residents and the city 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This first year grew to 754 active accounts with the city over home or office modems. The City of Thousand Oaks joined with the private sector this year in sponsoring the establishment of the Thousand Oaks Environmental Business Cluster. One of only 3 in the state and thus far very few in the nation, this business incubator provides reduced office rent space and communication support to nourish new businesses, creating new jobs and advances in the growing area of environmentally oriented businesses. GTE, Southern California Edison, the Los Angeles Regional Technology Alliance, and Rockwell International joined with the city in this progressive partnership in economic development. I'd hoped to see more transportation advances this year. However, the city is likely to receive significant federal funds for the construction of a transit center, thanks to the persistent efforts of Congressman Bielenson on behalf of the city. A feasibility study on a shopper's shuttle or trolley for central Thousand Oaks was completed for an area where improvements and transit options are most needed. This is waiting review by the council and implementation by staff. Ventura County and Thousand Oaks remains today in a severe non-attainment status for air quality standards. Thus, improvements in transportation, which we are mandated to provide, will be a continuing concern over the coming years. In reporting on the state of our city, I wish to include a thank you to those who influence the state of this community as policymakers. I'd like to thank our current city council, council members Andrew Fox, Mike Markey, Judy Lazar, Alois Zena, for what I feel was a productive year for the city of Thousand Oaks. I'd like to thank our city staff, who over the last few years has experienced major changes and challenges, a reduced level of personnel for an increasing workload, changes in policy and direction, and several city hall moves. In fact, in the 3 years I've been on the council, I have worked in 3 city halls, although I've never had the opportunity to vote on any one of them. I'd like to thank our staff, especially our long-term professionals who have helped in the implementation of policies set for the city of Thousand Oaks. Policies based on compromise, debate, and active citizen involvement, which have made Thousand Oaks an exceptional place to live and work. In reporting on the state of our city in 1995, I want to especially commend our residents who take the time to get involved with their city. In this community, we have an extraordinary number of volunteers participating in city committees, in our libraries, theaters, senior and teen centers, parks, trails, schools, service organizations, and even now in our police department. I wish to commend the members of the community who take the time to write or call, to attend public meetings, to make their views known. Representing this community as mayor, I've come to appreciate that these kinds of efforts make all the difference in the world in keeping elected representatives responsive. When we ask, what is the purpose of government? We remember it is an instrument created by the people, for the people. Thus, it requires the oversight of that which it was created to serve. For those who get frustrated at the length of time it takes for the city to respond to a concern, don't give up. Your efforts inspire others to become involved and reinforce the shared values of our community. The quality of a city is directly related to the involvement of its people. And your continuing involvement will help to keep our city safe, attractive, vital, and responsive to your needs. I thank you.
On behalf of the Chamber, I would like to thank Mayor Zukowski. That is one of the most inspiring and positive messages that I've heard from this type of podium for a long time, and I'm very grateful to you for it. And as a token of our thanks, we would like you to take the flowers from the head table when you leave today. And I'd like to thank all of you as well for taking the time from your busy schedules to attend, and we'll see you next year.